Here in the Greek islands on a bareboat charter, I'm on a Bavaria 46. This was built in 2014, and you can kind of see the interior here. It's very spacious. I think the headroom, I don't know, it's probably 6'8". It's a huge amount of space. It's very comfortable, very kind of posh in the sense of it's got 4 cabins, 3 heads. 2 of the heads have showers included. They're handheld showers. One of the heads is mixed. It is basically broken up. Here's an example of a head with a shower. So you can see the shower over here. Got the toilet. The holding tank is back underneath this wall. Each holding tank has its own through hole with a valve to potentially empty the holding tank. Here is one of the staterooms. Excuse the mess. Each stateroom does have a USB charger in it. It has a double/queen bed. It's got some storage space up on the shelves. It's got light in there, so you can turn it on. They've all got ventilation. All these berths have a little port light up top, or a vent on top, and port lights along the side. You can see how we've got our galley airing out right now. Plenty of room in the galley with a 2-burner gimbaled stove and oven. So we put that to use, and that worked pretty well. We have covers for the sink, and there's a little mini sink there too. So 2 sinks that are covered. The forward berthing areas are behind these 2 doors. And the shower, this is a full standing shower, a dedicated room for a shower. So this is really head number 3. And a toilet over here, again with the holding tank up high, and a sink. Here's an example stateroom that we're using for storage. We only have 3 people on this trip. So there's plenty of lighting. We have found the accommodations well organized and plenty of space to provision and everything like that. Over here is the control panel, or I should say the electrical panel, and that's a windlass breaker right there and a stereo. That control panel is relatively easy to use. It's got icons or graphics so that you just push the buttons that you want to turn on and off. It's got a display that you can cycle through how the voltages are for the starter battery and the service batteries. You have an AC breaker switch up above it. So that is a separate panel. And then you've got your VHF radio right here along the side. You can see there is a USB port right there. Access to the Penta engine is right in those companionway stairs. We just open that up and we prop it up with that boat hook, and that's where we can access the Penta. Here's a quick look at the Penta engine. You can see it's pretty clean, well-maintained engine in here. Very easy to access. A deep oil pan. All right, so you can see how we have a nice little area here for our cockpit. Plenty of space to sprawl for 3 people with a cockpit table. We've got the gauge. This is a Raymarine GPS kind of chart plotter. You've got a couple gauges over here on the coaming, including a bow thruster. This sailboat has a bow thruster, which is pretty great. You've got stereo speakers down by the helm area here. This is where the cockpit locker is. This is a little deck shower. You've got another gauge by this helm. And down here is where you can access the water infill for the back, and on the opposite side is the diesel engine. So the diesel infill is right here underneath this little hatch, and there's scuppers underneath there too, so the scuppers are kind of hidden. I should also point out the swim platform. So we have a dinghy along with this charter, and you can see I can run this swim platform with a switch. That swim platform flips all the way vertical, and it acts as a bench for the captain or the skipper helming the sailing vessel. Here I'll show you the running rigging from the cockpit. You can see that you've got 4 clutches on one side, 5 clutches on one side, 5 clutches on the other. These all facilitate the running rigging, which is used to manage both sails. You've got a furling mainsail right here. So the furling in and out lines go to this drum right here below that boom. That's the furling drum. Over here you have the outhaul, in-haul line. So basically it's your outhaul in essence. And if you move forward, you can see everything's kind of like well organized. You got a furling jib and a super powerful windlass up here with a lot of anchor chain. And there's how she looks from the bow. You can see we also got a sup for the charter as well. That bimini is very nice with the Dodger. The Dodger is a little bit glazed over. It's not brand new, so we rolled up that Dodger so we could see a little more clearly as we're sailing. That bimini provides a lot of shade. We've got a solar panel. So the name of the sailboat is Artemis, and Artemis is part of a sailboat, bareboat charter fleet by a company named Istion. So it's a 2014 Bavaria 46. So yeah, I would say that our sailing, we took this out on a windy day across from Athens to Hydra, and the wind was coming from the north, and we saw 25 knot winds. And I would say that it took us a little bit to get used to the furling main and how to control that, how to tension it. But once we did, we were able to keep this thing pretty well balanced. It sailed very nicely. We always felt like, there was plenty of ballast, and we heeled, with 25 knot winds when your sails are a little much, you haven't reefed to the point that you should, now you feel a little more heeling, but we never felt unsafe. This thing is a sturdy boat. It handled the waves well, it cut through them. We were sailing just fine. So as far as performance goes, I liked how it performed. We do put the dinghy up here between the main sail, the main mast, and the furling jib. So the dinghy will rest right in the space above those vents when we pull it out of the water. So in regards to the performance and specifications of the Bavaria 46, she's got a deep, thin keel with a bulb that provides plenty of ballast and stability, along with 2 rudders that are relatively shallow and have less chance to hit the bottom in the event of you're close to ground. That deep keel is about 7 feet or 2.1 meters. The charter company suggested that the draft was more like 8 feet or 2.6 meters relative to the waterline and how the gauges were calibrated. The displacement is heavy at 27,700 pounds, and the beam is over 14 feet, I think 14.3 feet. So it's very heavy and comfortable. She's got a 55-gallon diesel fuel tank and a 95-gallon water tank. For my 2 cents, I'm not fond of the in-mast furling systems because I'm always concerned that the mainsail could get stuck in its out position, like at the least welcome time when you want to bring that sail in, you can't because there's a jam or some sort of problem. And then you're stuck with high winds
and just very uncomfortable situation with that main sail stuck out. Whereas if you have a gravity system where you just pull up the main and you could cut a line, you could cut a halyard, and that would drop that sail, or at least allow you to get that sail down. So in-mast furling I'm not overly fond of because of that risk. To bring this sail in when there's a little bit of tension on the sail was difficult. We definitely had to take the tension off of the sail in order to furl the sail in. Otherwise, the furling system would just wind without actually grabbing the sail itself. There's probably some sort of tension setting there that allows it to slip in that event. I'd also question the directional stability of this sailboat in heavy seas. Like if you're talking heavy ocean swells or potentially a storm situation, a longer keel is absolutely a benefit, or even a skeg with a rudder that's hung on a skeg. Those are keel designs that are meant to provide more directional stability when you're running down very large waves. And this narrow keel with a bulb at the end is not going to provide that. So that is an outstanding question. I certainly didn't sail her in those sorts of conditions. The designer is Bruce Barr. In Bavaria is known as a pretty slick manufacturing firm. It's one of the firms out there that actually innovated in such a way to speed up production of boats. And like, think of it like a McDonald's, where McDonald's and restaurants created a nice speedy process to deliver food. Bavaria came up with a lot of manufacturing techniques to get more boats out there sooner with more cookie cutter styles of manufacturing. The downside is that Bavaria does not always have the best ratings when it comes to absolute quality and design features. There are some design flaws that have been pointed out in some of the newer models of Bavaria's, so it is something to keep an eye on. On sailboatdata.com, she's got a capsizing ratio of 1.89. Anything below 2 is suggested to be extremely stable. So that's a very good number for the Bavaria 46. Though I would say that she did perform and look like a lot of cookie cutter Genots or Beneteaus that are out there in the charter fleet. So as far as the Bavaria goes, even though that she performed fairly well, and I absolutely know of a YouTuber that solo sails and circumnavigates a Bavaria 55, I would call this Bavaria 46 more suited for charters and coastal cruising. It can be taken out on deep water, blue water excursions, but I think it's just more suited for coastal cruiser family comfort. That swim platform that just comes down, it's all smacks of kind of like a charter boat. I want to thank my subscribers. I really appreciate your support. If you've stayed to the end of this video, please consider hitting that like button. That will help this channel grow. We'd really appreciate that. This is Sailor Eric. Thanks for watching.